Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Now celebrating 17 years of broadcasting success, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again, both for our radio audience and those tuning in online worldwide. We're glad you all could be with us as well. We're doing something a little different for us. Typically, we don't have a guest on so soon after their last appearance, but Brett Solomano is someone who's done something amazing at the end of September. We definitely want to be able to catch you guys up on what accomplished, but also what he hopes during this month you're able to realize. Now, if you guys missed my first conversation with Brett, he is not only a Hollywood stunt driver, but also a motivational speaker. He set out to do something on September the 30th, and that was to break the world record for staying focused and reversing a truck, and he was able to do that. Actually, he went 54.4 miles. It's the longest distance ever without stopping. We're going to talk to Brett not only about that achievement, but also now during the month of October as we're looking at Distracted Driving Awareness Month, what all of you should be aware of when it comes to remaining undistracted behind the wheel. Brett, welcome back to the program.
Thanks for having me again, Cyrus. I really appreciate it.
Well, look, I appreciate the time. So let's start off by saying congratulations to you again. So you are now a Guinness Book World Record holder. How does that feel to be able to reflect on what happened on September the 30th, Brett, and to see what you were able to achieve?
Yeah, thanks, Cyrus. It's definitely one of my biggest personal achievements, and it's very, very exciting to have, put so much effort in over the last couple of years. Just to clarify, we haven't actually got the Guinness World Record yet because Guinness is one of the organizations that officiate it. They will be officiating it over the next few months, I hope, once we get all the paperwork in and that sort of thing. But, yes, it was 54.48 miles in reverse, reversing a tractor trailer. I did it in just about 4 hours. And,
wow.
Yeah, that, needless to say, that did take a lot of focus. Driving a car at any sort of vehicle for any length of time takes a lot of focus. But reversing a truck, obviously, there's extra awareness you need for that, and then to do that at speed for 4 hours, that took a lot of my focus. And it was definitely a big concern because when you're reversing a truck or anything like that, anyone who's ever backed a car with a trailer will know that trailers can kind of have a mind of their own, and you just have to chase them. Keep them behind the car. Yeah. And, that was kind of one of my big concerns. I was reversing it up to 21 miles an hour in reverse in this tractor trailer. I had it in high range, if that means anything to anyone. And I was going, up to 21 miles an hour, average speed of 15. And one of the biggest concerns was that I just have a little, slack moment of concentration. And we had a really big space down there at Turner Field Gold Lot, donated to us by Carter USA and also In Focus Plus. And it was a perfect spot just south of Atlanta there, next to 75-85 and I-20. But there was poles around, there was trees. It is a parking lot just like any other sort of large parking lot like you might see at Walmart if you can visualize that. So for me to be reversing around there at speed, the gaps get pretty small when you are reversing at that speed. So it required a lot of focus, yeah. And that was the challenge for me was, okay, what can I do with my focus and how can I take it to the limit? How can I push my driving skill to limit? And while it's a personal achievement, I'd love to talk as well about Distracted Driving Awareness Month, which is the month of October right now. And it's a very important cause. I think when people start driving, when they start in their late teens, early 20s, something like that, they get their license, they learn from their parents, they get some classes or go to school or something for that. And then they get their license and they don't really take much more training after that or consciously try and practice, I've found. And they get comfortable and they get by for 5 or 10 years. Maybe they don't have an accident or whatever, but the habits deteriorate over time,
Right.
And I think it's very, very important for us to remind ourselves to just keep constantly adjusting our habits and keep getting more conscious as technology changes, as road conditions change, as laws change. And one of the biggest changes over the last sort of 10 or 20 years is the inclusion of road laws that keep people off their mobile phones in various capacities around the United States. So that came into effect, and there's a lot of publication around it, but people still perhaps have old habits from before that, and they get away with it, or they find ways to get around it, and it's just one touch on the phone. I've got my eyes on the road. I've just got my phone in my hand. They justify it for different reasons. And what I'd like to talk about today, I guess, is I want to challenge people to reconsider how they use mobile phones while driving, because it's like falling asleep. You never know when you fall asleep exactly. You just wake up next morning, and that's kind of how a car accident happens. You think you're all good 1 minute. 5 minutes later, you're saying, "Wow, what happened?" You're sitting on the side of the road. How was I able to do that? How can I be so stupid? You're beating yourself up because you had hopefully only a little accident, but any accident that happens is not a good one, and it only takes a small moment to lose your concentration. And a phone can do that very easily with all the apps that we have and the social media and the notifications popping up day to day.
So true. So I guess an obvious question would be, Brett, as I mentioned, you're not only a Hollywood stunt driver but also a motivational speaker. People would say, you didn't have to do this big feat. You could have just given a speech. Why was it important for you, by example, to show what we could do because that's the angle I looked at this as well. It's one thing to think about what happens when you are distracted, but just imagine what you can do if you're able to stay focused. Why was that important for you to show the importance of not being distracted?
Yeah, and perhaps if I had had an accident or something while driving around, it would have showed even more the importance. Or I've tried to stay relaxed as I could, so maybe I didn't express it as much in my presentation while I was driving. But I tell you what, when I got out of the truck at the end, I was definitely exhausted, and I had adrenaline going, and my hands were shaking and that sort of thing. It was nice to just stop and take a breath. People, I think important messages like this, people need to be reminded of them constantly. And even just driving around over the last couple of weeks, I've seen a lot of different billboards on the side of the road saying, it's just a text that can wait, and various slogans and messages like that. Because people need to be reminded, as I say, habits. If you're not consciously creating habits every day, your mind is often pulling you in different directions, and different habits are popping up. We have to work on our health every day. We have to work on our mindset every day, and driving is definitely one of those things. But we often take it for granted because we drive every day, and we drive to and from work. Maybe it's just half an hour each way, and we don't think it's that important because it's more or less the same drive every day, and we get away with it for so long. But statistics out there are that on average people are going to have an accident or two in their lifetime of some kind, and I want to reduce that. I want people to, I don't want that to be them. I want you to have no accidents in your lifetime. Let that be somebody else, and if we can all have less accidents on the road, that means that, you all know what it's like to sit in traffic, right? When traffic slows down and you're sitting there for 5 minutes wondering if you're going to be late to work or not, and then you get up ahead and someone's had a rear ender or something, and that's unfortunate for them, but obviously it slows everyone else down as well, and that cuts into family time and work time. So it is very important to have this conversation about these important issues every chance that we can get, basically. And to rehash on that issue, I had JC Good and Steve Johnson from hangupanddrive.com come down at the event to tell their story. JC's got a very sad story. She had an accident, not through any fault of her own. She was a passenger in the car, and she lost both her parents that night, and it was due to a distracted driving accident. And I've invited her to come down. I invited her to come down to share her message, because I think she's on the extreme end, and I think if people just have a near miss all the time, they think they can get away with it. But JC's living with the effects of that accident now for the rest of her life, and she's an advocate for road safety, and she came down to share her powerful message. And I think the more people that talk about it, and the more people that say it's not okay to do it, the better. As a passenger in a car, you also have a responsibility for road safety as well. I know as a passenger, that's something I try and do when somebody's driving. Hey, I see your notification went off, you look down at it. you want me to put your phone away? Do you want me to send a text for you? Something like that. And it is a community. It needs to be a community-focused event or a community-focused message, an activity that we change this behavior that we have in the community, because technology just came up so fast, over the last 10 or 20 years, YouTube and Facebook and all that. And I don't think our minds really got a chance to adjust, and we did become addicted to it as a society very quickly.
Yeah, such a good point. And a question I did not ask you last time you were on with us, Brett, and I want to say for those who are just tuning in, either on the radio side or online, you're listening to Conversations Live. I'm speaking with Hollywood stunt driver and motivational speaker and now world record holder, Brett Solomano. We're talking to Brett not only about what it's been like for him on September the 30th to be able to break a world record for staying focused and reversing a truck, going some 54.4 miles. He's doing this, though, to bring attention to the importance of staying focused on the road, and that's definitely important this month as it is Distracted Driving Awareness Month. But I didn't ask you last time you were on, Brett, and I think it's a great time now to get into this. Have you always been a person who tried to lead by example? Because it's very easy for someone just to say, hey, make sure you guys buckle up. Make sure you guys don't check your phone. Don't send a text. But have you always been a person who said, you know what, I don't only want to tell you, I want to show you what you can do and also be able to share with you what can happen?
That's a good question. I'd love to be able to say, yes, I lead by example in all areas of my life, but I'm definitely human, and, I definitely make mistakes, and I have areas of my life that I'm trying to improve on. There's obviously so many areas of your life, health and finances and relationships, and I'm definitely not perfect, but I have on many of my emails that I send as a tagline at the very bottom, be curious, learn often, live deliberately. And I think if we can all live deliberately, then we can start choosing the behaviors that we want to have. And that's something that I've always just tried to do. When I get annoyed at something in my life, my personal life, and if it's something that I want to change, I'll definitely change that. And I won't necessarily run around telling everyone that they have to do it, but especially for my close friends, I'll be leading by example and showing them the latest thing that I've learned or experienced or something like that. And this has definitely been the biggest sort of campaign where I've been leading by example because, I drive around, I think I mentioned this to you last time, sorry. So, driving around to and from work or going to see friends or whatever. And I encourage the listeners to do this as well. I look around and I see other road users with one hand on the steering wheel, one hand on their phone. Maybe they're pulled up in traffic because the traffic's so busy, time or the highway, the interstate stopped moving. And they've got their phone out and they might be watching a video, or you can see them typing with, one eye on the road ahead and one eye on the phone. And that kind of annoys me. And it's not a personal thing against those people. I see it more of a condition of society, and I feel like that definitely needs to be changed because these people are not looking out for their road safety. They're not looking out for your road safety, and that's why you need to look out for your own road safety as well because, they're just being human. They're just getting distracted a little bit, but we all need to take a stand and consider how we use our mobile phones while driving, and also do it for other people as well because, as I say, I'm not perfect and I don't know many people that are perfect. And we need to lift each other up in that way. These distractions and these issues that people can fall back on a little bit, it's important to keep raising ourselves for each other and us as individuals and us as a community.
Yeah, I think it's such a great point, and I think it's something that all of us should do. So, again, as I mentioned, and you did as well, Brett, October is recognized as Distracted Driving Awareness Month. Again, what do you hope our audience thinks about? Is there, not only, of course, getting in the vehicle, but also, thinking about their conversations this month about the importance of staying focused? Yeah,
as I say, that we've gotten away with it for so long, and I don't mean like gotten away with it like it's a crime or anything like that, but it's just little behaviors sometimes, and even though you might say, well, I do it for this reason, or I do it for that reason, and it's okay. I want to get people to reconsider how they use mobile phones while driving, how they eat food while driving. Just ask yourself, can this wait? Does this need to happen right now? You don't need to do your makeup while driving. I see some ladies doing that. All these behaviors, sure, we're all busy people, but they can wait. And I think if we're more mindful of our time, we can give ourselves more time to not just use the phone while we're away from the vehicle, but also be more mindful of those conversations as well. And I'm asking people to go onto the National Safety Council website whenever you get a moment. There's a page there about taking the pledge. And if you go to that page, you take the pledge, thezebra.com is going to donate $1 to the National Safety Council for every person that does that. And then I'm encouraging people to take that pledge and copy and paste that and put that into your social media and tag 3 friends as well who you think might benefit from taking the pledge as well, both for the National Safety Council's benefit, but obviously for your benefit and for the benefit of your friends. And this is how we can start a little movement, is to raise the bar for yourself and then encourage others to do the same as well.
Such a great point. Again, everyone, Brett Solomano has been our guest. Great conversation with you, Brett. Congratulations to you again. How can our audience stay connected with you, Brett?
You guys can stay in touch with me via my Stunt website, drivensolo.com, or you can stay in touch via the website that was set up for the Longest Truck Reverse website, which is longesttruckreverse.com. And there's more information on that site about the record and also some pictures. We're getting some videos up very soon. When I actually get the Guinness World Record, I'll obviously publish that if that goes through. And you can find out more information about donating and taking the pledge on that website, as well as some strategies, not just to mentally change your mindset, but also, okay, how can we actually technologically change ourselves? You know, some strategies for, it seems so simple, but just to move the phone into the back seat while you're driving, to put it on Do Not Disturb and that sort of thing.
Right. Such a great thing. Brett, congratulations to you again. Thank you so much for joining us twice this year, and looking forward to our next conversation together.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, Cyrus.
Hey, glad to do it. And we thank you, our audience, for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Let's make today amazing. Take care.